The Siege of Zaragoza in 1808 stands as one of the most intense and blood-soaked confrontations of the Napoleonic Wars, a period marked by its monumental battles and strategic complexities. This siege wasn't merely a military engagement, it was a brutal display of resilience, urban warfare, and the fighting spirit of the Spanish people against the might of Napoleon's forces. Zaragoza, a key city in northeastern Spain, became symbolic of Spanish resistance. The city's strategic significance lay in its geographical position, serving as a vital link between the Spanish heartland and Catalonia. Its defense was crucial for the Spanish insurgents striving to stymie Napoleon's expansion. The siege exemplifies the ferocity with which the citizens, often ordinary individuals without formal military training, fought alongside the regular army. Notable figures emerged from this ordeal, such as General José de Palafox, who led the Spanish defense. His leadership and the unwavering spirit of the residents turned the city into a fortress, challenging and exhausting the French troops. Moreover, individuals like Agustina de Aragón, who famously manned a cannon and inspired the defenders, embodied the tenacity and patriotic fervor that defined the siege. This historical event also provided a vivid example of urban warfare's complexity. The French were unaccustomed to such tenacious city defenses and were beleaguered by the narrow, fortified streets. Comparisons can be drawn to later urban warfare scenarios, such as the Battle of Stalingrad in World War II, where civilians also played crucial roles in the defense against invaders. There are differing opinions regarding the impact of the siege. Some military historians argue that its lasting significance was less about tactical victory and more about its psychological impact, rallying the Spanish resistance and galvanizing support from across Europe. Yet, this narrative isn't without controversy. Critics point out that the eventual fall of Zaragoza underscored the might of the Napoleonic military machine, as the city suffered immense casualties and destruction. The Siege of Zaragoza inevitably connects to the broader theme of civilian resistance and its profound influence on larger military campaigns. It underscores the power of local populations rallying against an occupying force, a theme that reverberates through countless conflicts in history. In examining Zaragoza 1808, we gain insight into not only the military strategies of the Napoleonic Wars, but also the human spirit's indomitable will to resist and fight for sovereignty against overwhelming odds. The Napoleonic Wars, spanning from 1803 to 1815, were a series of conflicts involving Napoleon Bonaparte's French Empire and various opposing coalitions. These wars, rooted in the French Revolution, sought to spread revolutionary ideals across Europe, while also fulfilling Napoleon's imperial ambitions. Efforts to establish French supremacy over the European continent led to widespread political, social, and military upheaval. The Napoleonic Wars are significant as they reshaped European borders, sparked nationalist movements, and left a lasting legacy on military strategy and international relations. Understanding the Napoleonic Wars provides crucial context for examining the Siege of Zaragoza in 1808, one of the conflict's bloodiest episodes. The siege exemplified the brutal nature of warfare during this era and highlighted the fierce resistance of national populations against French expansionism, which was a recurring theme throughout the wars. Two notable examples illustrate the impact and reach of the Napoleonic Wars. First, the Battle of Austerlitz in 1805, also known as the Battle of the Three Emperors, was a significant French victory that demonstrated Napoleon's strategic genius. It established France's dominance in Central Europe and forced the Austrian Empire into a peace treaty. Second, the Peninsular War, in which the Siege of Zaragoza was a key engagement, revealed the ferocity of local resistance to Napoleonic rule, as the Spanish populace and guerrilla fighters played crucial roles in challenging and ultimately depleting French resources. Some historians view Napoleon as a visionary leader who spread revolutionary principles and modernized Europe's social and legal systems. However, others criticize him as a tyrant whose wars caused immense suffering and destruction. These differing viewpoints underline the complexities of interpreting Napoleonic-era events. Challenges associated with this perspective include reconciling the progressive aspects of the French Revolution, such as the spread of egalitarian ideas, with the aggressive militarism and imperialism pursued by Napoleon. Furthermore, there are controversies regarding the lasting effects of these wars on European stability. The background and context of the Napoleonic Wars are deeply intertwined with the events at Zaragoza. Understanding the broader conflict illuminates the determination of the Spanish resistance and underscores the strategic importance of Spain in Napoleon's continental ambitions. This connection emphasizes how local acts of defiance, exemplified by the siege, contributed significantly to the erosion of Napoleonic power, shaping not only the outcome of the Peninsular War, but the eventual downfall of Napoleon's empire. The Siege of Zaragoza in 1808 remains one of the most intense and brutal confrontations in the Napoleonic Wars, characterized by the military strategies and tactics employed by both the French forces and the Spanish defenders. In military terms, a siege is a strategy in which an attacking force surrounds a city or fortress to isolate it from outside support and force its surrender. During the Siege of Zaragoza, this approach was marked by intense urban warfare, strategic positioning, and determined resistance, reflecting the larger strategic goals of debilitating the opponent and gaining territorial control. The significance of these military strategies and tactics lies in their impact on the course of the siege. For the French, led by General Jean-Antoine Verdier and later Marshal Jean Lannes, the tactics included artillery bombardments, mining operations, and relentless infantry assaults aimed at breaching Zaragoza's defenses. This approach was crucial for the French to weaken the city's fortifications and break the morale of its defenders. Conversely, the Spanish, under the command of General José de Palafox, employed guerrilla tactics, constructed improvised barricades, and fortified key city structures, demonstrating resilience and ingenuity in defense. The defenders' tactics played a crucial role in drawing the siege out far longer than anticipated, turning Zaragoza into a symbol of Spanish resistance against Napoleonic expansion. One real-world example of the tactics used is the extensive use of artillery by the French to bombard Zaragoza's defenses, causing significant destruction. Another example is the Spanish defenders' innovative use of urban combat tactics, utilizing narrow streets and fortified positions to their advantage, which prolonged the siege and inflicted substantial casualties on the French forces. While these strategies highlight resilience and military ingenuity, they also sparked controversies and challenges. The French strategy faced criticism for its high costs and the severe civilian toll it imposed, reflecting broader ethical debates on the impact of siege warfare on non-combatants. Additionally, the protracted and bloody nature of the siege called into question the effectiveness and morality of such an aggressive approach in achieving swift victories. The military strategies and tactics of the Zaragoza siege connect to the broader context of the Peninsular War, demonstrating the complex interplay between aggressive military campaigns and local resistance movements. This interaction influenced subsequent engagements in the Napoleonic Wars, emphasizing the importance of morale, local knowledge, and unconventional tactics in shaping the outcomes of military conflicts. The heading Notable Figures and Leaders in the Siege focuses on the pivotal roles played by key individuals during the Siege of Zaragoza in 1808, one of the most brutal confrontations of the Napoleonic Wars. This concept highlights the impact that leadership and personal valor had on the outcome of historical events. emphasizing how individual actions can sway the course of a larger narrative. In the context of Zaragoza, understanding these figures' contributions provides insight into the resilience and strategic maneuvering during the siege, and how these elements contributed to its bloody reputation. The significance of notable figures in the siege lies in their ability to inspire, strategize, and lead amid adversity. Their actions not only influenced the battle itself, but also symbolize the fierce spirit of resistance that characterized the Spanish struggle against Napoleonic expansion. Two paramount examples are General José de Palafox, a key leader of the Spanish defense whose relentless determination made him a symbol of Spanish resistance, and the legendary Agustina de Aragón, known as the Maid of Zaragoza, whose acts of bravery, such as manning cannons despite enemy fire, became emblematic of civilian courage and resistance. These figures were not just tactical leaders, but also morale boosters, serving as icons of defiance that rallied both soldiers and citizens alike. Their stories have been celebrated in historical narratives, underscoring the power of individual contributions to collective endeavors. However, there are differing views on their overall effectiveness. Some historians debate whether Palafox's tactics were optimal, considering the heavy civilian casualties, suggesting that his lack of military experience may have exacerbated the siege's bloodiness. The involvement of these leaders influenced not only military strategies, but also the broader societal response to the occupation, embedding a legacy of tenacious resistance that resonated throughout Spain. This point is instrumental in understanding the broader context of the Napoleonic Wars, where local insurrections and figures of defiance played crucial roles in resisting a seemingly unstoppable military force. While the extreme loss of life and destruction are undeniably tragic, they also evoke complex discussions about the cost of leadership and the desperation of besieged populations seeking autonomy. This multifaceted interplay of leadership and grassroots resilience at Zaragoza enriches our comprehension of how localized leadership can impact extensive historical progressions, illustrating the enduring influence of individual and collective action in moments of crisis.